Hi, I'm back. Okay, so I have my coat of gesso on the my page. So I use Liquitex, and you shouldn't gyp yourself on your supplies. You should use the good stuff because good stuff is best. All right, so I have my fine sandpaper, and I'm just going to give it a sanding. It takes out all of those ridges. And what those ridges do is that they eat your fine tip markers. They just ruin them when you want to go back later and do some enhancing. So very lightly, we'll take off all of those ridges. So just continue sanding until you get a nice, smooth feel. Didn't take much. And then what I like to do is I like to take a baby wipe and to get all that dust off. And I often use baby wipes to blend my paint. So don't think that you're getting your surface wet because it's really not a problem. Alright, so now that it's all sanded and wiped down, it is ready for painting. So let me decide what I'm going to use. Okay, so I have decided what I'm going to do on the background, and I am going to put about, I don't know, either 3 or 5 dandelions on the page. And I want the back of the dandelions to be white. I want them to have no color. So what I've done is I've taken some scrap paper, and I didn't want to cut it out with scissors. I just wanted to tear it because it would be more fluffy that way. I guess that's the word I want to use. And so I am going to, it's just scrap paper that I have. Everyone has scrap paper. So I'm just going to put them down here and there, and I'll show you. You just get your scrap paper and just use your finger as a guide, and I don't know if you can just use your finger as a guide and go around and around and around. And if you get something that's like a little bit too pointy, just pull it out. So this is perfect. Whoops. See? It's fluffy on the edges. But I do think I want one that is bigger. So let me do that. Okay, so I have my circles that I did. And I just, used my fingers to make a rough circle. And I'm thinking about placement now. And I think I'm going to have my words over here on my left side. And so I'm going to want the dandelions to come down on my right. And I have 5 dandelions. And I'm going to tell you a little story about dandelions because you will never ever find them in my yard. If my husband sees a dandelion out on the lawn, goes out there, takes right care of it, it is gone. But what's really sad is when he sees a dandelion on a neighbor's lawn and he gets really upset. Because he knows if they don't get rid of them, they're going to come over to his house where he doesn't want them. So that is the story of dandelions. All right, so now I'm just going to tack these down with probably some painter's masking tape, which it doesn't have a lot of tackiness on it because I don't want it to rip up my background. So let me go find that. Okay, so I found the masking tape. It's by Scotch. It's a low tack painter's tape. So we're just going to take a little piece, make a little tab out of it, I guess you'd say. Put it on the back and just put it right where you want it. It will stay put. You just don't want it to move. So you want a little assistance when you're when you want this effect, because you just want it to stay put. I don't want it to be, I want the back to be pure white, and I want it to fall. I want my edges to be, you know, with the paint. You know what I mean. All right, we'll get those down. And we are going to, let me see. Dandelions, they don't have, or do they? No. Well, mine aren't. They don't have leaves on the stems. They're just, they actually have a cylinder stem, if I remember correctly. And if I remember correctly, I don't think I knew that dandelions were weeds until my husband told me. And he had to take care of a lawn. Because, you know, when you're little, you would pick them, and they would be all that white fluff, and you would make a wish and blow it. And it would go everywhere. The wind would carry it. I think dandelion's reproduction system is quite ingenious. Thank you, Jesus. Even though it's a weed, it's still pretty cool. All right, let's get some paint on here. I know I want some blue. Well, let's just go see what I get. Okay. What am I going to use? I want a transparent look. So I think I shall use my gelatos. And that means I'll use a baby wipe. And I think that's going to work out really well.